FanDuel NFL Week 1 salaries are out, and this is your FanDuel NFL Week 1 first look. That's right. FanDuel has dropped their NFL 2025 season Week 1 salaries, and we can get into it. We can start building lineups, check out some of these bargains, and when I tell you guys, there are some crazy bargains. They mispriced a ton of players on FanDuel. We're going to identify all those. We're going to build our value lineup to start, and then we're going to show some ways to build some tournament stacks off of that lineup for NFL Week 1. The tingles are tingling. Now, last season, FanDuel started off the year with a series of contests. I believe it was the $3 one and occasionally the quarter game where they threw a ton of extra overlay in there. Basically meaning instead of filling the contest where there's a 15% VIG that FanDuel takes, they would fill the contest, not take any commission, and throw an extra $100,000 in those contests. Now, I haven't seen those out yet, so let's hope that FanDuel drops a couple of those promo contests before Week 1. We're going to max the shit out of those. But either way, Week 1 is shaping up to be pretty awesome. So let's jump right into it, guys. My name's Kevin Allen, aka the Fantasy Football Geek from DFS Army, and I do FanDuel weekly breakdowns all throughout the NFL season. So if you've seen these breakdowns before, that you know that the first thing I really like to do is look at the game tile so we can get an idea from the Vegas odds makers about which games have a better chance to pop off on paper to start. This gives us an idea of which players to target, which teams to target, and just a quick refresher on how the stats have traditionally worked. We want running backs on teams that are favored. We want players on teams that are projected to score a lot of points. Why? Well, because when a team scores 4 touchdowns, there's more touchdowns to go around. So whatever player we take from that team has a greater chance of scoring a touchdown as well. Seems simple. Simple, but effective. On top of that, though, we're going to look for bargains. We're going to look for mispriced players, and there are a bunch of those. Let me tell you how mispriced the players are on FanDuel this week. We'll get to it. But there's so many. I built lineups that leave 4, 5, 6K on the table, and they look really good. I don't need to spend anymore. That's how mispriced a lot of these players are. We're going to get into all of that. But first, let's take a look at NFL Week 1. Let's get a little feel for these matches. Just going to do a quick here. It's still weeks and weeks and weeks before the season's supposed to start. I'm not going to say the date. I don't know when you're watching this, but know that I'm recording this in the beginning of August, right? So let's get right into it. And we're going to the game tiles from the DraftKings Sportsbook, weirdly, because I can't open FanDuel DFS and FanDuel Sportsbook simultaneously. Don't ask me why. That's just how it works. First game of the Sunday slate. We are looking at the Sunday main slate, and FanDuel has removed the Sunday night game, by the way, from their main slate. Thank goodness. No one liked that, or at least I didn't like it. So they removed the late game. Thank goodness. We are back to Sunday only, at least what's showing in the lobby here on FanDuel. So first game of the Sunday slate, we get the Giants at the Commanders here. This one has a 45.5 point total, which with most of the scoring expected to come from the Commanders. We love the Commanders this year. Giants are kind of an up-and-coming team. They're going to have Russell Wilson out there. So, all right, they can keep it close. 7-point spread here. Commanders side, obviously, Jaden Daniels. We've got a little holdout going on with T-Rock McLaurin happening right now. We got Deebo Samuel on a new team. So some interesting pieces possibly from the Commanders. Not sure that's how I'll build my stack this week, but it's at least mildly interesting. Second game, we got the Bengals favored at the Browns. 5.5 point favorites. 44.5 point total on that game. So a lower total game here. Not necessarily expect to be competitive. We kind of think that Cleveland will be on the less good side of the NFL this year. Possibly a bottom 5 team. Possibly. Yeah, it's already interesting that the spread is as close as it is. I kind of want to put a Bengals here, -5.5. But as far as this game goes, I'm not sure it's going to be super competitive. But anytime the Bengals are on the field and they want to put a beating on their division rivals, it's certainly possible. You know, the whole slew of weapons are going to be of interest here in terms of Burrow to Chase/Higgins stacks, a little Chase Brown action as well. So those are all in play, although probably not the game I'm going to primarily target Week 1. Low total, not that great. Steelers at the Jets, 38.5 point total. Anytime I see a total under 40 points like this, I'm just staying away. This is not a DFS game. With that being said, there are pieces on the Jets that I like this year. There are maybe some pieces on the Steelers to like. Mostly no. But there are certainly some pieces on the Jets I like. But this game has all the makings of a low-scoring stink turd. So I will be staying away from that one. Bucks at the Falcons. Let's go. You like the excitement? All right, let's go. Bucks at the Falcons, 48.5-point total, 2.5-point Bucks road favorites. Gotta love this game. So let's just get into some of the details of this game because there's a lot of goodness happening here. Of course, we've got Baker Mayfield and the Bucks offense returning from last season. I don't expect Godwin to be ready for week 1, but all reports out of training camp are that Mike Evans is looking great and Emeka Egbuka, the rookie wide receiver, first-round player, looking spectacular in the preseason. So we'll pay attention to those guys. I've got a feeling Egbuka is basically free. So stacks on the Bucs, of course, Bucky Irving, amazing finish to the season last year. Falcons, not a very good defense. Falcons plus 2.5 here at home. I also like some pieces there. Penix looking really good at the end of last season. Tossing it to Drake London, the Dreezy. Bijan Robinson, probably the number 1 running back play all season long. So lots and lots of fantasy goodness likely to come from this game. 40.5-point total right now. That's a little soft. I wouldn't be surprised if that rises up a little bit as we get closer to NFL week 1. Would not shock me if this one hit like a 50 or 49.5, went up a little bit. So I'd be apt to be betting the over here right now. But more importantly, that is a game to target for DFS purposes. Next up, another kind of bettable spot for whatever that's worth. Cardinals at the Saints. Well, I remember talked about earlier in this video how the Browns might be the worst. The actual worst team in the league this year is probably going to be the New Orleans Saints. They stink. We don't know who the quarterback is. Whoever it's going to be, they're not good. So this is a Cardinals defense situation for me more than anything else. The 42.5-point total is horrible. Probably a stay away game as far as DFS. Although, again, favorites, you can mess with the running backs a little bit. So maybe Jimmy Connor, a little James Conner in that one, maybe. Next up, we got the Panthers at the Jaguars. And this one, weirdly, is also a really exciting potential offensive juggernaut of a game, even though currently the odds makers have this one set at a 45.5-point total. I don't know. I like the over here. Panthers were an up-and-coming offense to end the season last year. They added Ted McMillan, the rookie, I think will absolutely be a star in the NFL. Chuba Hubbard's back. They add in Rico Dowdle. The Dowdle addition for the Panthers puts a little bit of a damper for me on, this, what we got from Chuba, which was like a 90% carry share last season. So I think that, it'll be a little more split this year, unfortunately, right? But as far as the Panthers go, 3-point road underdogs, this is a close one. They bring back Adam Thielen. I was able to get, a tight end. So Panthers team, kind of interesting. The more exciting side for me, though, is the Jaguars, right? The Jaguars, totally revamped offense. Trevor Lawrence is back. Liam Cohen, now running the show. Liam Cohen is known because he's the one who turned that Bucs offense around and made it into the juggernaut that it's been the last few years. He's hoping to come to Jacksonville and do the same with Lawrence and his crew. I love the Trevor Lawrence this year. They added Hunter. They got Brian Robinson Jr. Even the third wide receiver, De'Ami Brown, has been a touchdown magnet at times in his career. The tight end, Brandon, everything about this team right now looks pretty good. And especially with the Jaguars, you don't really have to worry about a running back there. They got a running back by committee situation thing brewing. It's gross. They're going to have to move the football through the air. Trevor Lawrence stacks with Hunter / Brian Robinson Jr. / De'Ami Brown, all good in this one. And, it's a lot of rookies, a lot of young players that we maybe need to wait a little bit for them to marinate. But we're going to get amazing prices on these players on FanDuel anyway. You're going to see some mind-blowing salaries. Continuing on. Another game that kind of excites me, even though the total is really low, and this is like almost a go against the grain situation. There's a lot of fun games week 1, but this one, the 42.5-point total, it's the Raiders at the Patriots. Patriots are at home, 3-point favorites, 42.5-point total. I think the Raiders are a team that people think are worse than they are. Okay, so I think the odds makers think they're worse than they are. And weirdly, I might think the same about the Patriots, but definitely the Raiders. And here's why. The Raiders are kind of being looked at as if nothing changed since last year. They're the same team. Shitty team last year, shitty team this year, fine. And now I don't want to go crazy about this, but they went from Gardner Minshew / Kevin O'Connell or whatever, some garbage QBs, to Geno Smith, who I think is a legitimate upgrade. Like, I think that's a real levels difference type of a quarterback compared to, let's say, a Gardner Minshew or Kevin O'Connell or whatever garbage they had going on. Kevin O'Connell. No, Aiden O'Connell. Throw the hate in the comment section below. Hate me. Do it. Throw it in. You suck. You forgot the name of last year's shitty quarterback. Who is this guy? In the comment section, guys. Let me have it. Back to it. The Raiders and the Patriots. So I think the Raiders are a legitimately better team. Yes, they lost Devontae Adams, but they add Ashton Jeanty, stud running back in the draft this year. He's going to be featured in a game like this. Don't forget the Raiders have Brock Bowers on the team. Why are we sleeping on these guys? So I think the Raiders offense is going to be a lot better than people think this year. And the Patriots, kind of the same deal. I'm concerned about the pass catching corpse on the Patriots, but I think Drake May is ready to make that leap. He already looked really good last year. He runs the ball. He's got a well-diversified skill set. The word out of training camp is, quote, the game is slowing down for him. Those are the kind of things you want to hear. So I'm excited about the Patriots offense as well. I like the over in this game. And there are some very low-cost pieces. FanDuel didn't know. I mean, Patriots drafted a rookie, Trevion Henderson. He's sub 5K on FanDuel. Now, I don't know if he's going to be starting. It's still too early to tell. Ramondre Stevenson is still there, but holy cow, second-round running back rookie. He might be the starter, might be the 70% guy for sub 5K. Sadly, there's so much value on FanDuel week 1, we might not even need it. But that one is crazy. Next up, we got the Dolphins at the Colts. Colts are 1.5-point home favorites here. This one has a 45.5-point total. Love this game. What's not to like? Indoors, on the turf, on the carpet. You got the fast track for the Dolphins fast players. We know that Achane and Tua, they'll be healthy for this game. They didn't get time. There's no time to get hurt. All right. Preseason isn't over yet. But assuming that Tua to Achane is healthy, when has that combo really ever failed? Every time Tua and Achane have played together, 90% of the time, they smash. So, okay, I'll take me some Achane in this one. Dolphins players galore. Everything looks good. And even on the Colts side, the Dolphins defense, not very good. Extra not good on the road. You got the Colts with Anthony Richardson. Sure. Am I excited about Anthony Richardson? No. But Anthony Richardson, when he plays a full healthy game, is going to score fantasy points. So I don't care. Fine by me. I'm stacking the shit out of this game in NFL week 1. All kinds of ways. Richardson stacks to downs. Fine. I'm not going to play Tua. I don't play Tua in DFS. I've never done it. Never going to. But I'll play Achane. I'll use some Waddle. Whatever the pieces are from both of these teams, I'm interested, including Ty Warren, the rookie tight end for the Colts. He's actually a mildly interesting piece, even in week 1. They're using him all kinds of different ways. So exciting game. Next up, we got the Titans at the Broncos. 41.5-point total. Titans on the road, rookie quarterback. The only thing that stands out to me about this game is Broncos defense against a rookie quarterback at home. Broncos defense is going to be one of the best defenses in the league this year. If you're doing the kind of season-long fantasy football this year where you have to take a defense for your team for the season, the Broncos are certainly one that I would aggressively target, especially because of this week 1 matchup, but they're probably a pretty decent whole season defense to hold on your team. As far as DFS plays, I would not be interested in this game for that purpose. But one game, I mean, there's so much more. The game of the week is coming up, and I see here Vegas is just afraid to put high totals on these games for week 1. They think these offenses are going to come out the gate a little screwy. But I think they're wrong. So next up, we've got the 49ers at Seattle. 49ers are 1.5-point road favorites in that game with the total set at 45.5. Okay, close game, mid-scoring. But here's the beautiful thing. The 49ers offense is, as of this moment, listen, we'll find out. But at this moment, we've got Juwan Jennings a little banged up. Will he be ready for week 1? I don't know. But you know who is going to be ready? Ricky Pearsall, who's about to be a stud. He's free on FanDuel this week. There's no charge. You just plug him in your lineup. I think he's sub 5K. Ridiculous. They priced him ridiculous. He's going to be the star. George Kittle in games where players are missing for the 49ers goes bananas. And of course, Christian McCaffrey, week 1, Christian McCaffrey at full health. So the 49ers side of this game looks spectacular. And of course, on the Seahawks, it's really just Jackson Smith and Jigba, maybe a little bit of interest in Kenny Walker. And that's about it. Fine by me. So I love building 49er stacks, Brock Purdy, Kittle, Pearsall, even Juwan Jennings, Purdy +2, or playing Christian McCaffrey. I might actually, in this game, in this slate, I might make a rule to play at least one 49er player in every single lineup. Like that might be a rule. You know, I make 150 using the domination station optimizer from DFS Army. That's how intense that is. All right, 2 more games to look at before we get into the player pool for NFL week 1. We've got the Lions at the Packers. The Packers are at home, 1.5-point minor favorites here, 40.5-point total. This is one of the games of the week. Okay, of this slate, this one will attract a lot of attention for good reason. I mean, the next one too, the afternoon games just look spectacular here, but Lions are a high-scoring team. every year. They have weapons everywhere you look. Obviously, I don't have to go through them. Lions have weapons everywhere, and the Packers have weapons everywhere. Packers added Matthew Golden, the rookie wide receiver, but, Josh Jacobs comes back for the team, and you've got Romeo Doubs and Reed out there as well. So tons of weapons for both of these teams. And these are the kind of games that sometimes pop for a monster score. So I'll be considering some really full game stacks around this one. Not sure who yet, though. Almost too many weapons on these teams. Last game of the main slate, we got the Texans at the Rams, 45.5 point total. The Rams are at home in this one, 3-point home favorites. So I'm going to assume that Matthew Stafford is going to be back and fully in full health for this game. Assuming that's the case, everything about the Rams offense in this one looks exciting. Not necessarily Stafford, actually, but Puka, Devontae, Kyron Williams, all very much in play from the Rams. Texans side, it's always going to be just Nico Collins or bust. I like the Texans passing offense even more now with Mixon banged up and Chubb kind of just out there, slugging away. And the running game looks terrible for the Texans. They're going to have to throw for touchdowns, and that's what I want. I don't care about who wins the game. I want my team throwing for touchdowns. So with that being said, let's jump over to FanDuel, take a look at the salaries. We'll go position by position, and we're going to identify some of the best spots, some of the best values of the week. And your mind is going to be blown when you see some of these bargain plays. You were warned. Your mind is going to be blown. Put a hat on. Head's going to explode. All right. Starting with the quarterback position. Very top here, we got Jaden Daniels coming off season where he averaged 22 fantasy points per game. He's the man. Love Jaden Daniels. It's going to be even better. This game, didn't really project all that well, but who cares? Jaden Daniels is the man. Same thing with Joe Burrow. Is Joe Burrow the best quarterback in the NFL? Maybe. I think you can argue that. He's the man. Is this the year that he finally, secures the ring? Maybe. I could see it. The game doesn't pop that much for me, but I think if Cleveland can make a game of it, then the Bengals could go bananas. So it's definitely not somebody I'll have Burrow stacks built. There's no question. He's easy to stack because you just Chase and Burrow, or Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. I mean, it's not a hard stack to produce because there's not that many players on the Bengals that really are used. And I think Chase Brown is also a viable stack with Burrow as part of a dual stack. Baker Mayfield, 7,900. Sure, why not? Right? No problems there. Jared Goff at the Packers. I probably prefer him at home versus the road, but that, whatever. If I'm going to play wide receivers from Detroit, I'm certainly, if I'm playing Goff, I'm certainly stacking him with Amon-Ra and Jamo. Goff will go with at least 2 pass catchers. It could be Porta, it could be whoever, but certainly won't be Montgomery. Kyler Murray on the road at the Saints. Yeah, okay, 7,700, fine price. Jolo, also in this kind of high-scoring game against the Lions, would be fine. Look at Sam Darnold priced all the way up. Isn't it funny that Sam Darnold is still 7,500 on FanDuel? The 5th most expensive QB. But if you're in your season-long league, Sam Darnold literally goes last. Like, he's the last viable quarterback to go. So, I don't know. Don't really know what to make of it, but it is what it is. I don't know how FanDuel comes up with these salaries, to be honest. They seem off. Bo Nix, 7,400, but Nix had a really strong end to the season last year. I don't think this is a particularly competitive game, so probably not where I'm going to get crazy. With Nick stacks, it probably won't be part of my plan for the week. Tua, same deal. I just don't use Tua. CJ Stroud, you got to prove it to me. The 14-point average from last year for Stroud, it still looms large. I think he's better than that, but I'm not quite ready to commit to any kind of Stroud lineups this soon. Justin Fields will be somebody that we're all over this year, but I don't think it's going to be for week 1. The Steelers are not a defense that I'm looking to attack. Cam Ward, a rookie, again, not somebody I'm looking to utilize in NFL week 1. Let the rookie, especially against Denver, okay? Let's wait until he's up against a bad defense. Stafford, no. All right, we're in the zone of value here. Starting with Trevor Lawrence. He'll burn your food like Florence. He'll run up in your cribs like his name was Search Warrants. T-Law, is he good? I'm not sure. Is he NFL caliber as a quarterback? That has not been shown yet. I hope that Liam Cohen can turn this guy's career around. And then we truly will be sunshine with Trevor Lawrence. But for now, I'm skeptical, but I like him as a DFS play in NFL week 1, in this game, in this matchup. Panthers defense, not very good. So I got no problem building a stack around Lawrence to Brian Thomas Jr., straight 2-manner, no problem there, right? Most of what wins on FanDuel has been 2-man stacks anyway. So fine by me. Geno at the Patriots, I like the price at $7K. Not bad, but there are other names I'm going to like a little bit better. Anthony Richardson, The aforementioned, if Richardson is healthy, then I'm interested. As long as he's playing, as he's a healthy player, he's not hurt, he goes into a game healthy, I'm interested every time because he does so much with his legs. Like when he does complete a game, look, 11 passes completed and he got 21 points. Like this guy has to do almost nothing to put up a monster score. 28, 23, 21, 27. So when this guy has played a full healthy game, generally putting up a monster score. Now they have played Miami, I guess, before, and it didn't go so well, but I think got hurt in this game. Plus, who cares what happened in the past? Past performance is not indicative of future results. Who cares? So I like Anthony Richardson for week 1. One of my favorites is going to be Brock Purdy, 6,900. Already told you, the stacks with Purdy are so cheap, you could create a Purdy lineup and it's just no sweat. You're leaving so much money on the table. So good right there. So yes, Brock Purdy I'm interested in. No Aaron Jones. Probably no for Bryce Young for week 1. Maybe. Kind of interested, mildly interested. And Penix for week 1, 6,700 against a terrible Tampa pass defense. I mean, I like it. Like Penix to London, hell yeah, right? I like Bijan Robinson as well, but we will certainly build Penix lineups for week 1. I think the best priced player for NFL week 1 in terms of the top value is probably Drake May here at 6,600. Did May have monster scores last year? No, but he came on strong in the second half of the season, and he is an underrated runner. This guy, look how many rushing attempts, 6, 4. Now, the problem last year was the Patriots don't really have anything going on that's a pass catcher. Their pass catchers suck. They're not really that much better, but they certainly added Kyle Williams, a rookie, third rounder, who they like. Stephon Diggs is there now. So I think he's got more weapons to work with. I think Drake May is in for a monster season this year. With that being said, I think my favorite of all of these plays in terms of both price, value, and everything, it's tough to pick a best one. It doesn't really matter, but I'm probably leaning cash, maybe Richardson or Purdy. I think Purdy's the easiest guy to stack. So we'll leave Purdy in there for now. Placeholder Purdy. All right, now this is the part I've wanted to get to. I'm going to show you some incredible values. Everybody's a value on FanDuel in week 1. Like they've got everybody underpriced, but just real quick, right at the top, Bijan Robinson, 8,800. All right, fine. This guy's probably going to be 10K, in a couple of weeks. So getting him in there is fine. Jahmyr Gibbs comes in at 8,700. Jonathan Taylor, I don't really like this spot for him at 8,300, but it's not the worst. Achane, where are the bad games when he plays with Tua? It's always a monster score. So I like Achane, of course, but I mean, the standout value of the elite tier is certainly going to be CM Sizzles himself, Christian McCaffrey, 8,100. Come on. McCaffrey needs to be the most expensive. A healthy game for McCaffrey is going to outpace everybody else. So I'm just going to plug him in as a value play, as crazy as that sounds. The values get much crazier, though. You're like, Kev, you promised us insane values. There are. But I just need to point out that Christian McCaffrey, even at 8,100, is an intense value. Josh Jacobs, 7,800, whatever. Bucky, 7,700. Okay. Connor, interesting matchup for sure. Kyron Williams, okay. Breece Hall, man. Look at what's coming. First of all, Chase Brown, 6,900. You can't beat the price. Chase Brown is the man. His team scores a ton of touchdowns. As a matter of fact, this is Jahmyr Gibbs light without being vultured by Montgomery. That's what this is. I love Chase Brown week 1. Get on it, right? Other deals, though. We ain't done. Kenny Walker, 6,700. Okay. Chuba, 65. Sure. I play some of that. And then one of my absolute favorites, Ashton Jeanty for 6,400. Why so cheap? Why? Too inexpensive. So we have a plethora of supreme value options at the running back. But now, we could be cute about it and stick with only favorites and this or that. But we've got a plethora of incredible value plays at the running back position. Chuba, Chase Brown, Jeanty. Wait, there's more. You keep going down the list. RJ Harvey, 5,700. Fine. Do we love him? No, but it's something. Caleb Johnson, 5,500. Sure, why not? But the ultimate, the insult, keep scrolling. Trevion Henderson might be the starting running back for the Patriots. 4,700 on FanDuel? Stone Min? Really? All right. That's how I have it. All right. So we have some incredible value. I'll play Trevion Henderson. It's 4,700. Like, it's going to make for very unique lineups. And oh, by the way, one of the things I talk about all the time on FanDuel is the field does not like to use a player that cheap. So the field will stay away from him at 4,700. They're going to be like, nah, he must suck. But if we find out Trevion Henderson is starting in any way at home against the Raiders, yes, please. Okay, that's all I got to say. All right, let's jump over to the team defense position. I like to just plug in a defense, whatever kind of defense I would say is the cheapest. But in this week, you don't even have to go that cheap. I think we can even kind of consider the best defense for NFL week 1, right? Denver at home against Tennessee, rookie quarterback. Sure, yeah, I'll do that. So 4,800, it's most expensive, but hey, whatever. We got Pittsburgh at the Jets. The Jets always just suck, so maybe, right? But the next real defense, I think Miami at the Colts, if Richardson is the QB, certainly playable, but even more so, Arizona here, right? At New Orleans, I said it. New Orleans has garbage at QB. So that is an absolute elite spot for Arizona defense. I wish they were at home. Home is better than on the road. As far as anything else, no, I think that just about, I'm going to say that's the cheapest viable. Maybe Jacksonville, because Bryce Young's not that good, but no, I'm going to say that the cheapest viable defense right now, especially on a slate like this, is probably Arizona. And I think the best overall defense on the slate is going to be Denver at home against the rookie QB. So we'll go with that. But, I could certainly make a strong argument. You know what? I think I will. I'm just going to favor the cheaper one. So we'll go down to Arizona here because we are building sort of a value-based lineup, and we can go from there. All right, let's just browse the tight end position real quick and see where the salaries are. I almost feel like I'm going to play George Kittle no matter kind of what happens in week one, just because of the way things are setting up. George Kittle really stands out. But interesting, George Kittle, McBride, and Bowers all really similarly priced right now on FanDuel. If we're looking for the value plays at tight end, I mean, it's certainly fine to play someone like Zach Ertz, Tyler Warren. Can keep going down here. I'm sure we'll find some other. Yeah, Hunter Henry at 5K. Always somebody I like. I always like Hunter Henry. I like tight ends against Las Vegas. I think I'm going to leave Hunter Henry in here as the value play. I think he's a good value spot there. Some other names here that I was looking for, but I can't really remember at this point. So let's plug in Hunter Henry. But I just want to point out, I love Bowers. Like in my actual lineup, Bowers, Kittle, McBride. Kittle's going to be my favorite of the group, but all of these guys kind of in play, but Kittle will be the one I'm most interested for NFL Week 1. And I sleep on some other names here like Evan Ingram. So lots and lots of value at the tight end position that we can go with, but we can also just stud up. There's going to be so much salary left over at the end of this lineup. You guys are going to see. What I'm going to do is I'll plug it together, this all value lineup, and then we'll show some ways to spend it, right? All right, continuing on, let's take a look at the wide receiver position for NFL Week 1 on FanDuel. Here we go. Jamar Chase, top dog. Okay, fine, 9,200. There's Amon-Ra, 8,400. So the gap between Jamar and the next best guy is almost more than 1,000, which is wild. Guys, if you are on the clock with pick 1.0 overall in your full PPR fantasy football league, you probably should be taking Jamar Chase. Amon-Ra, 8,400. Puka, 8,100. Fine. Nico. I like Nico in the spot for 7,900. Nico Collins. If we were building that Trevor Lawrence lineup, we'd probably be plugging in Brian Thomas Jr. here. Love him. Not a big Reek guy, but Mike Evans, week 1, could be an exciting play as well. So I think a lot of these guys are just going to be in play based on stacks or whatever you got. I think Evans at 7,500 is certainly a very good price. I think Brian Thomas at 7,700 might be underpriced. I wish you could see what he was last year to end the season. But if you look at the run this guy went on, 20, 26, 30, I mean, he was just a monster in the second half. We haven't even gotten to the bargains yet. But Jackson Smith and Jigba, the only game in town for Seattle, certainly why not. Higgins in my Burrow stacks. But I think a standalone playable guy here is definitely going to be Drake London at 7K. 2 games with Michael Penix last year. He scored 17 and 38 points. I mean, those numbers are ridiculous. I mean, even a 17 is fine, but a 38 is crazy. Devontae Adams is an interesting play as well for week 1. I love him on the new team. DK Metcalf, probably not. I think the Jets have cornerback play that can shut him down. So I don't like this spot. Cortland Sutton, it's not the game spot for me. Wilson, again, fine, but nothing I'm going to try to aggressively target. But look at, you get great players here for cheap. Deebo Samuel, touchdown scorer, healthy, new team, 6,300. I don't mind that. Jacoby Myers, acceptable. Jamo Williams, certainly decent. Stephon Diggs, if we had a Drake May lineup, would be interesting. But, you got Jawan Jennings at 6K. Wait till we find, I can't even find Ricky Pearsall. Where is he? Where's Ricky? Oh, Ricky, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Ricky Pearsall, 5,300, NFL Week 1. Are you serious right now? You shitting me? Just scrolling up to see if there's any other extreme bargains down here. I think Josh Downs at 5,200, also really interesting. If we did a Richardson lineup, I might be interested in Josh Downs here with Anthony Richardson in this area. Now, we've got this Brock Purdy in here. So I'm going to jump back over to tight end, and I'm going to swap out Hunter Henry for George Kittle. We've got still 10,300 of salary left. This is kind of what I was telling you guys about at the beginning. There's so much salary available for NFL Week 1 that we don't need to really worry about it too much. So if I was building a lineup like this with Brock Purdy, I'd probably avoid McCaffrey and maybe play like an Achane up top. And then I can afford the next kind of most expensive, one of the more expensive wide receivers on the slate. So I can just have my pick of whatever stud wide receiver I might be interested in and still have some salary left over to upgrade. I mean, this is not bad. So check this one out. Just straight up lineup. Brock Purdy stacked with Pearsall and Kittle. So a two-man Purdy stack. We got Achane with healthy Tua indoors. We got Chase Brown in a smash spot. Drake London, only game in town for his team. Touchdown scorer, stud, 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 with 700 left over. That's wild. So NFL week 1, look at all this value. You don't like that one? How about, I like the Richardson one. Let's throw it together real quick, right? What if we had the balls to play Anthony Richardson, right? Okay, now I'm going to swap out Pearsall for Downs. Bam, just like that. 800 to spend? Well, we happen to have a guy named Chris McCaffrey that we can play. Remember I said, you're going to want to play one player from the 49ers in most lineups. So putting in Richardson, I got McCaffrey in there. Now I've got an extra $900 to spend. I can spend that wherever I want. I really like Ashton Janney. Like, I'm not sure I want to upgrade that. I don't really want to upgrade off of him either. So I'd probably, I don't know, probably get off of, maybe I still love Kittle too, to be honest, but we can go to Bowers here. We can straight swap out Nico for, Amon-Ra or Puka or something like that. Lots of ways to improve this last spot. I can go up to Denver defense. So you get the idea here. Draft FanDuel NFL week 1. The salaries are crazy. They have mispriced a ton of players. We're going to be discovering more and more of those price discrepancies as the offseason rolls on. And guys, if you want to be a part of DFS Army and all of the tools and content that we have this season, it's time to get signed up now. You see scrolling below me there is the big promotion. You get the full season of DFS Army, Daily Fantasy Sports, the Domination Station, the Showdown Breakdowns, the Research Station, the Cheat Sheets, the Players Club, everything that we do for NFL. You can get a full year of it, $50 off with promo code NFL25. And that's for the full 12-month package of NFL at DFS Army. If you're a full VIP person and you want all the sports covered as well, promo code NFL 2025 will give you half off DFS Army monthly VIP, which is $89 a month. So half price, $45 for full DFS coverage for every sport. Dom Optimizer projections. Of course, our NFL projection system is the most accurate system ever conceived. No one can touch our NFL projection model. No one has been able to, and we're going to continue to crush it until the field figures out what they're doing wrong. So check out DFS Army, promo code NFL 2025 for that monthly VIP 50% off, or do the full season 12-month NFL package, normally $300. Promo code NFL 25 gets you $50 off. So a full year of DFS Army NFL for just $250. I'll see you guys next time. Good luck this season, everybody. Deuces.